If you like mending, if you have a whole pile of things that have been waiting to be mended, maybe hang out with me, grab your pile, and let's get into it. Let's mend today. Yeah. Hey there friends, today we are tackling my mending pile, finally. A lot of these items have been waiting way too long to be mended. So, here's my pile. We'll see how much we get through. And yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I think it'll be a good combination of easy, quick things and things that require a little more thought and preparation and follow through. Okay, so first things first, a few of these things have been sitting in the pile for a long time, and one of them is my winter coat. So several things need to be washed before doing anything. We're gonna throw some things in the wash, and then we'll get into some of these easier projects. We're gonna start as easy as possible first, just to get the ball rolling. Okay, the wash is going, so we're gonna start with two really easy projects first. This first one, this t-shirt, literally I just need to sew this hole in the armpit. So I took this one out of rotation because I really like this shirt and I didn't want it to get any worse before I fixed this. But I'm excited to get to wear this spring. This is just such a nice green color. So this is gonna be really easy. And then at the same time, I think we're gonna do this one as well because it's basically the same thing. This beautiful, beautiful piece. I love this. I got it at Goodwill. I did not do it. People always ask me that, but Lois did. I don't know if you can see, but she signed her name down here, Lois. Anyway, it's a beautiful top. It's interesting because it's a reverse patch and this is all just one piece of fabric underneath, and then they cut the holes and sewed around, but it's definitely old and some of these sewn lines are just fraying. So we just need to sew some of these holes shut. Another thing is the collar, but I think we'll leave that for another day. Okay, so starting off strong with two really easy ones. Let's just patch these really quick. Easy peasy. So in this case, it's definitely easier with a sewing machine because it's just very, very quick. But it's the same process if you're sewing by hand. And it'll just take a couple more minutes. All right, so just a couple of straight stitches. One down. So I just redid this line on the armpit. All right, so we're just gonna find as many like weak spots and holes as possible and sew those back. Just cleaning up some of these frayed edges first. I hope this color is close enough. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so the hole is closed, and I don't think that this pink is all that noticeable. It was not my best stitching. Easy peasy. All right, this one's done, and now we're gonna do this one. I just need to find some thread that will work in this armpit. All right, white it is. Okay, our thread is all loaded up, and now we're just sewing this hole. It's interesting that the way that they did this, so they sewed the pieces together, zigzagged it, and then sewed down this extra seam allowance that was already serged, which is interesting. That's why I love making clothes and mending clothes and all of that, because you learn so much about the construction. So that's what made this armpit a little stronger. Not strong enough apparently, but for this stronger seam, they sewed this extra seam allowance down after serging it. Very clever. So it's gonna be kind of weird trying to patch this hole like that, but whatever. Whatever. Here we go. All right, seems okay. It's not perfect, but I think it'll do. Okay, and with that, our first two very easy projects are done. That took such a short time, and I've been waiting so long to do it, but two down. So I'm gonna eat some breakfast, and then we'll see what is next. Be able to make it a little bit more challenging on this next one. Okay, so next we've got these pretty blue linen pants. These are part of my travel capsule wardrobe for when we went to Italy, and honestly bringing out my spring wardrobe and seeing those clothes that I brought to Italy has been making me want to go back so bad. But anyway, I wore these. These were more like my sleeping lounging pants, but I washed them when we were there and the washer just did not agree with these pants. So I've got two little rips, one here. This one should be easier to figure out. And then this one is quite big. And so this one's more challenging because we have the drawstring here, so I can't just sew it shut. It still needs to have a channel in the middle. So just trying to figure out how to reattach it so that there's still a channel. It looks decent. And it's not irritating because it's right on my waistband. So I don't want it to like feel too tight or irritating. Oh, you know, I just realized that this is attached right here. So actually, if it's not movable from here, that's okay. Like if all of this is attached, it'll still be movable. Is that true? I think so. Okay. I guess maybe I'll just overlap this part over it and encase this part. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take off these belt loops first, just the top. I'm gonna leave the bottom attached and then figure out how to get this together. I think that having these out of the way will help a lot. These are really stitched on here well. Okay, y'all, almost there. This is proving just as hard as I expected. One down. Okay, so that's one. Yeah, I think that was the right move because now we have more to work with, and also it's going to be so easy to reattach. It was more difficult to detach it than it will be to reattach it. Yay. Okay, we got them off. All right, so with these out of the way, we still have the drawstring on the way, but that's okay. So what I'm thinking is just putting this over this and sewing it down. And then if I put the belt loop back over it, you won't even be able to notice the hack job that I did. So, Oops, I changed my mind. So I decided that because it's so important that I don't lose any of the waistband length here, I'm gonna do a patch instead. So I found this fabric and I think it matches pretty well. So instead, I think I'm just gonna make a patch that can go over this and sew it onto both sides so that they meet kind of with this. And I was also thinking about how I was gonna do this patch here. The freaking washing machine just ate this. So I think just a tiny little patch of this wrapped around will do the trick. I think this will also feel better against my skin than a bunch of stitches trying to hold this together. Okay, so I think like 4 squares thick, luckily it has this nice geometric pattern, is where I want it to land, but I'm going to give it a hem as well so that it's clean on the outer edge. So let's do 6 squares across, and let's go with 10 because we also want a hem on this edge. Okay, we have a plan. Please don't judge me for my desk. Should be perfect. I think that'll look pretty cute, actually. Sorry for the dryer noises. I'm just like trying to do all this at once. Okay, so I realized this is gonna be so obnoxious just to finick with. So I'm going to take a second to hand stitch a ladder stitch to connect these 2 sides just loosely. I don't want to overlap them like my original plan, but just to connect them so that when I put this on, it's easy and everything stays in place because I can't pin it like underneath there. Thanks so much for sticking around and hanging out. If you're liking this video, maybe give me a like and perhaps a subscribe. I'm Christina, I'm Anita, and I'm so happy you're here. So let's get through this project. Okay, I haven't really used the ladder stitch in this capacity before, but we're just gonna go with it. So I'm just taking chunks back and forth from each side. And hopefully that'll be all that it takes. Okay, so it's pretty ugly, but they are attached. And luckily we're gonna cover this up now. So I think that worked pretty well. And now I won't have to fuss quite so much with it when I attach the patch on top. Whew. Okay, I'm so glad that I did that hand stitching because it was already so hard to put this together. Okay, so we're just gonna find out if my machine can handle all these layers and such, but it's pinned on and we're just gonna do 2 stitches here and 1 stitch down here, and then I think it's on and we just need to reattach the loops. I'm done. I made quite a big oopsie on the back. We'll see. Maybe I'll redo it and then attach these, and then we just need 1 more tiny one for over here. Okay, so next up is this sweater, and it just needs a shave. You can't really tell all that much, but there's so much pilling on it. So I'm gonna try one of these fangled fabric shavers. Now, if you're gonna try this at home, it does say do not use for shaving skin, okay? All right, let's check this bad boy out. All right, so it just needs 2 batteries. And I think I'm actually gonna try it on the back first, just in case it's messed up. Whoa. Okay. Let's just give her a go. Let's actually try the sleeve first. Like slowing down, so I wonder if I need to get this lint out of here. Okay, it's interesting. So it's like 3 little razor blades here that spin around. Oh, so I cleaned it out. And now we go for round 2. All right, I call this one a success. You can't really tell on camera, but it looks so much cleaner. I'm shocked with how well this razor thingy did. I'm shocked that it worked so well on this like very lumpy and like shapely pattern that this is. It still worked really well and it didn't seem to harm the sweater at all. Alrighty, it is day 2 of my cozy mending week. And we are about halfway done, so I'm excited to get back into it and maybe finish up all the things today. So I thought we'd start with something nice and easy. So we're gonna start with my winter coat, which I already washed, so it's nice and fresh. And it's just got a few spots. The main one is here on the wrist. It just needs to be sewn back into place. So I'm just gonna find a nice dark thread and thread this together. It's like really cold again today. It's like in the 20s, so hoping I can wear this. So let's just really quickly patch up this little hole and then we can get to some fun creative stuff. Okay, so first I'm just gonna clean it up, get all these extra threads and stuff off of here. I found this purple, which is pretty much on point. So I think this will work well. So I'm gonna just pin this in place like so. And hopefully just a nice, easy sew. Having difficulty getting this pin through this fabric, probably because it's like a waterproof fabric. I hope I don't mess it up too much. Okay, that's good enough. So yeah, I'm just gonna sew it back and forth. Got my thread, my needle, my pin. So I think the stitch that I used here was technically a whip stitch. I was just going back and forth, trying to make it look clean, basically. Seems to be working pretty well. At the end here, there's a lot of layers of fabric, so it's kind of hard to get this needle through. Okay, but I think that is it. Voila. Okay, so over here we have a spot that's not open, but it's kind of coming apart. So I'm just gonna add some ladder stitch in here. That should be nice and easy to seal it up and make it look a little cleaner. So again, with the ladder stitch, just grabbing chunks from either side back and forth. Okay, so here's my ladder stitch, and I'm just gonna pull it so it's a little tighter. Okay, and that sealed up this kind of part that was coming apart just a little bit. So now I just need to tie this up. All right, so that one was quick and easy. Both arms are done, and I think that's all the holes and patching that kind of needs to be done. So check. Easy. Okay, now let's do a slightly more creative one. So I've got this blue top that was Karis's for a few years. And before we moved, he put it into the giveaway pile, and I was gonna let it go, but then I wore it and I really liked it. So I'm just gonna make a couple of adjustments. So the main problem is that it's got this button here and this button at the top, but there's nothing in between. So it kind of flaps around. I don't love that. When it's just open with just the bottom button, it's a little bit too open, too much chest, especially because I don't wear bras. So it's a little bit too much. So I think maybe just adding another button here in the middle, finding something that matches pretty closely with these, like, I don't know, coconut shell buttons maybe. So I think maybe just adding a button in the middle. My other thought was like maybe having a way that it can stay open. I don't know. And then while I was thinking about it, I thought it would be fun to do a little something on the sides to open them up. So I was thinking I would open up the sides maybe a few more inches to like my waistline so that I can wear it untucked and still have like the flowiness and show like some of my figure. But I can also like tuck it all the way in because I like that option. So I think it'll be fun to open up these sides, but first let's just figure out the button collar situation at the top. So like this is the same style button, but it's a lot bigger than this button. This one's also the same style, but much smaller. I think I'm missing some buttons. Hold on. There they are. We bought some buttons when we were in Hawaii many years ago. And I've just been holding on to them to see what they would be good for. And I think this is almost the same size. It's a different shape. It's a little Hawaiian flower, but I think that could work pretty well. Wish the light was slightly better over here. So let's just sew this button on quickly. Easy. Okay, so, but like it doesn't look good with just the 2 buttons. Like it has to be all 3 if it's gonna be buttoned. But also like this wasn't made very well. I think it's like not the most symmetrical. And like, I don't know, there's this here. I don't know, I'm kind of stuck now. Like why is this button like not actually in the middle? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not sure what to do. But I can hear my tummy grumbling. So I'm gonna eat some breakfast and maybe that'll help me figure out what to do. Cereal again. Okay, so I decided we're just gonna press on with this. And I only have time to do one more thing before my therapy session anyway. So we're gonna leave the top as it is for now and focus more on the bottom, and we're just going to unpick the sides. So while I had it on, I put a pin in just to mark where I want the waistline to hit. So we're gonna unpick like 6 inches here, I think, and then we'll make a new hem. Okay, you know what unpicking looks like by this point, so we're just gonna skip ahead to the sewing part. Okay, so I picked both sides 7 inches, I measured, and now we just need to give it a new hem, so fold over a couple times. So I'm just gonna double fold both sides, iron them, and sew them down. Okay, everything is pinned, and now we just need a straight stitch. Just need to do that 3 more times. Okay, so the last thing is just to fix this kind of end where the hem happens. So I think if I just fold this over to seal in the hem and do kind of like a dart where I start here and then go to the edge, everything will hopefully make sense then. I know this isn't how you actually do this kind of hem, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna start right where my hem ended, right here, and I'm just gonna do a slanted line to there. I don't know, maybe that's dumb. I'm gonna check this in the mirror. All right, I guess this is the angle we're going with. So, almost done. I think the side thing worked all right. So, we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then we might be done. I'm not entirely sure, but it's time for therapy now anyway. So we're gonna take a little break. I'm gonna get therapized, and I'll meet you back to finish this, and then I think we have one more project to go. All right, therapy went well, in case you were wondering. Didn't even cry, it was great. And I just duplicated what I did to the little seam here on the other side. It's not perfect, it's not exactly the technique, but I think it worked well. And the top, I think I'm just gonna leave with these 3 buttons and try wearing it maybe tonight, and see if I like it like this with the buttons up. So that one is done, and we're on to our very last project, and that is these super fun patterned leggings. So these are my last pair of patterned leggings left over from a time long forgotten in my life when I wore patterned leggings every single day for years. So these are the only ones that I held on to, unfortunately, and for me, it's just a little bit too much pattern for the whole leg for me these days. So I decided to make these into just some bike shorts. I think that they'll be more functional that way. I only have 1 pair of bike shorts, and they're black and pretty lame. And I've been doing a dance class lately that I have to wear bike shorts for. So that's what you call them. So I thought these would be fun and funky, and no one else will have them. So I'm just gonna cut off the legs, hem the bottom, and we'll have ourselves some shorts. So step 1 is just to put these on and mark where I want them to be cut. And luckily this is a nice geometric pattern. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's nice to have a geometric pattern so that you have a nice clean line to follow. I think when I put them on before, I think it was this line here that I wanted. Okay. So I think it was this line right here, but on the back, it's not quite symmetrical. I don't know, we'll do it approximate. So right here, we're gonna cut it, and then someday we'll find something else to do with the bottoms of these, but I think here's good. On the bottom hem that already exists, it looks like they just did a single fold with a zigzag stitch. So maybe that's the move. Honestly, these are not all that nicely put together. These are pretty cheap, it would seem. I think I probably got these for like $10, so No shock there. Okay, here's our line, these pretty flowers. No going back now. Ooh, they're so short. Jeez Louise. Voila. Shorts. Okay, so I turned them inside out and I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this. All right, I guess I should press it first. And then we need a straight stitch. You know what? I think this thread is probably stretchy thread, right? Or not? Do you stretch it as you go? Okay, let's do a 3 straight stitch. Oh, okay, so when I first finished this stitch and looked at it, I was not happy because it feels kind of weird. It's a little ripply. The stitches are kind of small. I was just a little worried that I stretched it too much when I went around, but when I put them on, they felt perfect. I didn't feel the stitches at all. They didn't feel like there was any need for like any more stretchiness in my leg. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do the same exact thing on the other side, and then these are done. So voila, that was fun. So I'll meet you at the end with all the pieces we did in 2 days. Yes. Alrighty, all of these projects were simple, quick, and easy, and successful. So this first one, the sweatshirt, looks great. Just patched a few holes, and now I can feel a little more secure in it until the next holes come loose again. I think that the stitches that I did matched pretty well with the original ones, and the color of the thread matched pretty well. So I'd say this one was a success. Not very visible, came out well, and now I get to wear it again. Beautiful. Next was definitely the easiest of the bunch, and this was just patching this tiny little hole in the armpit, but it was cool to learn a little bit about the construction of the armpits of this shirt. So always learning something new on these projects, even the simplest little hole patches. So another success. Very excited to wear this one. It's been a while. Next was this sweater. I was just starting to feel real frumpy in it, honestly. It was like just had so much like fur and pilling and all of that, and it was just feeling frumpy. So I am so excited at the results of using this little fabric shaver. Highly recommend. I'm planning to use it again for many things around the house and in my wardrobe to make things last. Honestly, this sweater feels brand new now that it's on. I know it doesn't show up super well in the video, but what a success this one was, and so simple, so easy. I'd say this one was like the most exciting because I thought I came up with kind of a creative solution for the problem that was at hand. Part of the problem was this fabric being linen, just as, you know, a trickier fabric and agrees less with washing machines. So I tried to do it in a way that's secure, that I can continue wearing. And the main thing that I mentioned was a concern was just not losing any length on the waist because have been bloated a lot lately and don't want to be squeezed. And also being able to use the drawstring still, but I don't use the belt buckles or the belt loops anyway. So I'm feeling like this one came out really cute and it blends really well with the pants as they already were. So success. I know this one wasn't super exciting, but like shout out to the people who continue to wear their winter coat year after year and keep fixing it up over and over again. This one has seen many winters, maybe 8 now. I'm not sure exactly, but a lot for sure. And I'm hoping that it'll last at least 1 or 2 more. It's looking a little more beat up, but now that these patches are closed, I feel less self-conscious in it. Just cleaning it made a big difference, and I'm just excited to be able to continue wearing this because it still makes me feel very warm and it still looks pretty good condition. So highly recommend washing and tending to your winter coats instead of getting new ones every year, every few years. And then in the future, I hope to like maybe take off these little Velcro things that are just full of fuzz and stuff. So that's maybe a project for next year. But this is great for the rest of the year, this year, and hopefully the beginning of next winter. Okay, I think this one was kind of one of the most exciting ones. I love the results. I am excited about opening up the sides. I thought that was like a fun little idea, and it really did change the way that it lays when it's untucked. So before it was really just I wouldn't wear it untucked. I had to tuck it in, but now it feels really fun and flowy. I think it's going to be good for those hot summery days when I want my skin to be covered and protected, but still have, oxygen. The button in the middle works fine. I think it matches well enough, and I'm just, like I said, gonna wear it around and see how I feel about these buttons. Again, it like doesn't lay super perfectly, but I'm just gonna deal with it for now and kind of see how I want to proceed. Maybe do something with the pocket, maybe switch out the other buttons for the same little flowery button, something. But I'm loving this style and the fact that I can wear it both tucked and untucked. Perfect for me. And finally, these teeny tiny little shorts. These have got to be the shortest shorts that I own, and I haven't worn shorts this short in a very long time. But they're really cute. I think they have a lot of personality. I don't really see little big bike shorts with personality very often, so I'm excited with that. I'm excited that they were free. I'm excited that I get to wear these now because as leggings, they just weren't really my vibe anymore. But these will be really fun for dancing and also just for the summer when it's hot and I want to wear just like a big baggy t-shirt and shorts. So big success on these ones. Another just way too easy project not to do, basically. So loving that. Very happy. And with that, our cozy mending week is complete. We've got a good start on our spring wardrobe, and I'm excited to get to wear all of these clothes again. Some of these were super easy, some were a little bit harder, but I really wanted to just be, authentic and show what it's really like to have a mending pile and have like things sitting there for months that literally just need one line. So I hope that this inspired you a little bit to maybe tackle some of your mending pile, maybe one thing, that's fine too. And this has given me some new motivation to continue on to my Building My Dream Spring Wardrobe series. So hopefully this month I will get along to making some things from scratch, doing some more involved thrift flipping, and all of that jazz, maybe even trying some patterns. So if that sounds fun to you, make sure you hit the bell to be notified when my next video comes. I wish you all the best in all of your mending. I hope all of your projects turn out perfectly. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.